Good evening, lecturers. I am Justine Bruce, and this is my video submission for this week's learning objectives. Navigating the landscapes of education, understanding school choice and privatization. Introduction. Education is a cornerstone of societal progress, shaping the future of individuals and communities alike. In recent years, the concepts of school choice and privatization have stirred discussions, sparking debates on the best approach to delivering quality education. The educational piece aims to shed light on these concepts, exploring the implications for students, parents, and societies at large. Understanding school choice. School choice refers to the idea that parents and students should have the ability or the right to choose the educational institution that best fits their needs. This concept has gained traction as a response to the belief that one-size-fits-all approach to education may not effectively address the diverse needs and preferences of students. Number 1, public schools. Public schools are government-funded institutions that aim to provide free education to all students. Supporters argue that public education is crucial for promoting equal opportunities, fostering school cohesion, and ensuring access to education for every child regardless of their backgrounds. Number 2, charter schools. Charter schools are publicly funded schools that operate independently. They have more flexibility in terms of curriculum and teaching methods, but are held accountable for academic performance. Advocates claim that charter schools encourage innovation and responsiveness to community needs. 3, private schools. Private schools are funded through their tuition fees and private donations. Proponents argue that private schools can offer specialized programs, smaller class sizes, and a more tailored educational experience. However, critics express concerns about the potential for exclusivity and limited access based on socioeconomic status. 4, homeschooling. Homeschooling involves parents taking responsibility for the children's educations. Supporters argue that it allows for personalized learning, individualized pace, and a focus on specific values. Critics, however, express concerns about potential gaps in socialization and standardization assessment. Privatization in education. Privatization in education refers to the involvement of private entities in the provision and management of educational services. This can take on various forms, such as private schools, for-profit educational institutions, and public-private partnerships. Number 1, for-profit schooling. For-profit schools operate with the primary goal of making a profit. While proponents argue that the profit motive can drive efficiency and innovation, critics express concern about prioritizing financial gain over educational quality and equity. 2, public-private partnerships. Public-private partnerships involve collaborations between government entities and private organizations to deliver educational services. Advocates argue that this approach can harness the strengths of both sectors, while critics caution against potential conflicts of interest and the risk of prioritizing profits over student welfare. Considerations and challenges. Number 1, equity and access. The key challenge in the debate over school choice and privatization is ensuring that all students have equitable access to quality education. Policymakers must address issues related to socio-economic disparities, transportation, and resource allocation to avoid exacerbating educational inequalities. 2. Accountability and standards. Maintaining high standards of education is crucial in any system. Striking a balance between flexibility and accountability is essential to ensure that students receive a quality education regardless of the educational model chosen. 3. Community engagement. In the pursuit of school choice and privatization, involving communities in the decision-making processes is vital. Local input can help tailor educational approaches to meet the unique needs to each community and foster a sense of ownership and responsibility. Conclusion. The landscapes of education is evolving, with school choice and privatization playing influential roles. While the concept offers opportunities for innovation and customization, they also pose challenges related to equality, accountability, and community engagement. Its thoughtful and inclusive approach to education policy is essential to create a system that prioritizes the diverse needs for students, promotes access, and prepares the next generation for success in an ever-changing world. Key questions related to this learning outcome or this video. The first question that was asked was, what is my position on school choice and privatization? Well, in my opinion, every parent has got the right to educate their child in a system that best promotes their learning. And also, I believe that education should be publicly funded. It should not be put to the individuals to pay, because as we know, with different socioeconomic groups, not every group can afford quality education. So therefore, by creating publicly funded schools, whether they be private schools or homeschooling systems, charter schools, is irrelevant as long as the funding responsibility is taken on by governments. This is at least one step in breaking down the socioeconomic disparities that we see in education today. The second question was, why do I think this topic is still relevant today? I would say that the topic is still relevant today because the system still exists. If you look at countries, first world countries, or at least more financially stable countries such as the United States and the United Kingdom, these systems are still in effect today. So clearly there is both a need for them and a relative level of success in each sector. The third question posed was, from my own background and experience in education, would I want my child to attend a public school? Well, firstly, public schools should be destigmatized. A lot of people have this impression that a public school means bad education. And I think for many years, due to inadequate governments, failed policymakers, that this has generally been the case. But if I had to look at an ideal educational system, the factors that I would look at to consider a public school would be whether there is a good and adequate curriculum, quality and innovative teachers, a student-centered teaching approach over a teacher-centered approach, And a big factor for me personally would be a multicultural, multilingual, and open religious system. Being South African, where we are surrounded by so many cultures and languages and value systems, it is quite deeply inherent in me, as I've seen the benefit of learning in an environment where all these cultures learn about each other. This definitely tackles the issue of racism. It tackles multicultural or multilingual biases, where systems of education, force students to only learn one majority language. This system at least reduces that, making more languages available to cover a wider variety of people. And the fourth question that was posed was, from the readings, what further questions do I still have? I would say I do not have any further questions on this topic, as it was quite well covered. I think some of the political dimensions to education were quite interesting, to see how interlinked politics is within the education system. So I think this covers everything that I need to say on this particular video. So thank you for watching. I appreciate your time and have a great day. Bye-bye.